Attention passionate Baltimore Ravens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Baltimore Ravens' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Baltimore Ravens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Baltimore RAVNS fans. Let's get to the news now. Ravens fans, buckle up because what's happening right now in the AFC North is nothing short of seismic. Rumors are swirling that the Cleveland Browns, who have been struggling this season with a record of just 2-5, are eyeing a bold, perhaps even desperate move. And no, it's not just talk about improving their offense or shoring up their defense. They're apparently looking to make a splash with a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape the entire division. The buzz is that the Browns are considering trading their all-pro defensive end, Myles Garrett, who's been a dominant force in the league for years, to the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, you heard that right. Garrett, a player who's been a cornerstone of Cleveland's defense, might find himself in purple and black, and if that happens, it could be one of the most impactful moves in recent NFL history. Now, let's get into what's fueling this rumor and why it's such a game-changer. Cleveland, currently sitting at a disappointing 2-5, has been underperforming on both sides of the ball. Their defense, which was expected to be a strength, has allowed an average of 28. 2 points per game, an alarming statistic for a team with playoff ambitions. The defense's struggles have been compounded by injuries and inconsistent play, and it appears that the Browns' management is feeling the pressure to shake things up. They're reportedly motivated by a desire to rebuild, to reset their roster, and to make a strategic move that could give them cap relief and draft capital in the process. That's where the rumors about Garrett come into play. According to sources close to the league, Cleveland is planning to offer Baltimore a first-round pick in 2026 and a second-round pick in 2025 in exchange for Garrett. This kind of package would be a significant investment, no doubt, but it's also a calculated risk for the Ravens. The idea behind this is that Cleveland wants to clear about $22 million in cap space, especially after rumors of a trade request that have been swirling around Garrett for a while. The Browns see this as an opportunity to rebuild their defense and potentially bolster their offensive line or other areas with the draft picks acquired. For Cleveland, trading Garrett would be a tough pill to swallow. He's been a 3-time All-Pro, a player who's consistently been among the top pass rushers in the league, with a PFF grade that's been off the charts, reaching 95. 4 in his career. But sometimes, rebuilding requires making bold moves, and Cleveland seems willing to entertain that. Let's talk a little more about Garrett himself, because this isn't just any player. Myles Garrett, at 30 years old, stands 6'4" and weighs around 272 pounds. He's a physical freak, a true monster on the edge, and one of the most disruptive players in the NFL when healthy. His stats are jaw-dropping. Since entering the league, he's accumulated 98 sacks and over 212 QB hits with 22 forced fumbles. That kind of production is rare. In 2025, up until October, Garrett already had 5 sacks, leading the league with 28 pressures, and he's been a game winner against some of the best offensive lines in the league. His 2024 season has been especially impressive, with a PFF grade of 94, 8 and a sack rate of 4.8%. When he's firing on all cylinders, Garrett can completely take over a game, and that's exactly what the Ravens need, especially with the recent injury to Daron Majubuik, who's been a key piece along the interior line, and Lamar Jackson's hamstring injury that's kept him out until Week 9. Now, imagine Garrett joining forces with Odafe Oweh and the rest of Baltimore's defensive front. That duo of Garrett and Vic Fangio's scheme could turn the Ravens into one of the most feared pass-rushing teams in the league. The numbers speak for themselves. When Garrett is at his best, he's a game-changer, capable of elevating the entire defense. His presence could boost the team's sack total by around 13, making the Ravens' defensive line a true nightmare for any opponent. And with that kind of disruption, the Ravens could significantly reduce the points allowed, dropping from an average of 25 points per game to closer to 20, which in turn would make their offense's job much easier. Speaking of the offense, the Ravens have been hampered by injuries and inconsistent play from their quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Jackson's hamstring has limited his mobility and playmaking ability, and that's been a factor in some of their recent struggles. But with Garrett on the line, the Ravens could generate more pressure on opposing quarterbacks, giving Jackson the breathing room he needs to operate more effectively once he returns fully. Plus, with Garrett drawing double teams and commanding attention along the line, it would open up opportunities for other pass rushers like Foy, who has been quietly effective with around 5 sacks himself. A Garrett addition also means more blitz opportunities, which would improve the team's EPA per play, making their defense more efficient and unpredictable. Now, let's consider the bigger picture. This potential move isn't just about immediate impact, it's about setting Baltimore up for sustained success. Garrett's presence could be the catalyst for a deep playoff run, especially with the team already showing signs of resilience despite a slow start. The Ravens' defense has been strong against the run, allowing just 4.2 yards per carry, but their pass rush needed a boost, and Garrett could be that missing piece. His ability to generate pressure without help, what they call a top 1 double-team rate of 96%, means that he's constantly challenging the offensive line, forcing quick throws, and creating turnovers. If we look at the playoff picture, Baltimore's Super Bowl odds have already improved significantly with recent wins. From +6.0 earlier in the season, they've moved to +2.500, and adding Garrett into the mix could push those odds even further. In fact, Garrett could be the X factor that takes the Ravens over the top, especially in the trenches against some of the league's best offenses. Think about their potential matchups in the playoffs. If they face the Chiefs or Bills, Garrett's ability to pressure the quarterback and disrupt their timing could be the difference between an early exit and a deep run. Historically, teams that control the line of scrimmage tend to go far in the postseason, and Baltimore, with their strong defense, is perfectly poised to maximize that advantage with Garrett's addition. Of course, there are skeptics. The Browns are in a tough spot: injuries, a lack of offensive consistency, and a clear need to rebuild. Their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, has seen his QBR decline to 79.2, and with an offensive line allowing 4 sacks per game, their offensive struggles are real. They're also looking ahead to the draft, considering how to replace or upgrade their quarterback position after a season that's been riddled with questions. Trading Garrett might give them some immediate cap relief and draft capital, but it could also weaken their defense at a time when they can't afford to lose their best pass rusher. They're faced with a tough decision: rebuild now or try to salvage what's left of this season. But from Baltimore's perspective, this is a golden opportunity. Acquiring Garrett would be a statement move, signaling that they're not just content with competing, they want to dominate. Now, stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, this potential trade could be one of those defining moments in NFL history. Baltimore's front office has always been shrewd when it comes to building a championship-caliber team, and bringing in a player like Garrett would exemplify that strategy. It would send a message to the rest of the league that the Ravens are serious about reclaiming their dominance, especially in a division that's become more competitive with teams like Cincinnati and Pittsburgh also eyeing their own championship dreams. The AFC North has always been known for its physicality and tough defenses, and adding Garrett to Baltimore's already talented front seven would elevate the entire unit. As we look at the upcoming weeks, the Ravens will have until the trade deadline on November 4th to make their move. The team has about $14 million in cap space, which gives them some flexibility to absorb Garrett's contract and fit him into their roster. Plus, with the team already making moves to strengthen their defense, adding players like Foy and others, the Garrett trade could be the final piece needed to push them over the edge. Imagine a defense that allows only 20 points per game, with a pass rush that's relentless and a secondary that benefits from all that pressure. That's the kind of team that can make a real Super Bowl push, especially with Lamar Jackson returning to full health and leading an offense that's capable of explosive plays when given time. Reflecting on the recent history of the Ravens, they've always built their identity around a dominant defense and a versatile offense led by Jackson's unique skill set. This season, despite some setbacks, the team is still very much in the hunt. The addition of Garrett could be the catalyst that turns the tide, helping them win key divisional games and secure a higher playoff seed. It's a move that could mirror some of the most memorable NFL trades, like the Chandler Jones trade or the Von Miller deal, that have defined championship runs. Garrett's ability to create chaos in the backfield, force turnovers, and elevate the entire team's performance makes him a player worth trading for, especially when the stakes are so high. Now, looking ahead to the Super Bowl picture, the Ravens' odds have already seen a jump from +6.0 to +2.500, and with Garrett's potential arrival, those odds could tighten even further. If they manage to add him before the deadline, it would reinforce Baltimore's status as a serious contender. In the playoffs, Garrett's presence will be felt most when it matters. The biggest moments, the tight games, the battles in the trenches. His ability to generate sacks and pressure can be the difference between a quick exit and a deep run, especially when facing top-tier quarterbacks in January. It's not just about this season either. It's about establishing a long-term dominance, building a defense that can carry the team for years to come. And finally, this whole situation underscores the fierce competitiveness of the AFC North, a division where every team is willing to make bold moves to gain an edge. Cleveland's rumored interest in trading Garrett is a testament to how high the stakes are, but for Baltimore, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to acquire one of the league's most disruptive pass rushers, to reinforce their defense, and to send a message that they're not just participating, they're here to win it all. This trade, if it happens, could be remembered as one of the pivotal moments that defined the Ravens' latest Super Bowl push, echoing the great trades of the past that have shaped NFL history. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Baltimore Ravens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Baltimore Ravens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you believe Garrett will be traded to Baltimore? How could his addition change the team's trajectory for the rest of the season and into the playoffs? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below because your opinions matter a lot to us and to the Ravens. Remember, I'll be back very soon with more updates and insights, so stay tuned for the latest Baltimore Ravens news. This is a story that's still unfolding, and whether it happens or not, one thing is for sure. The AFC North is about to get even more exciting. Thanks for sticking around, and as always, go Ravens.